What's up? It's Marco back on the Sage of Soccer channel. And today we're going to be talking about the 4 games from the Sunday of Match Week 8 of the Premier League. Honestly, it's a bit of a quieter games this week. It was 3 pretty boring games to say, just being honest. Just getting right into it, we got Tottenham beating West Brom 1-0. And honestly, it was a pretty even, sloppy game. West Brom got off to a pretty good start. They're looking pretty good, making some chances, but overall it didn't really look like they were going to be scoring throughout the game. Also, Tottenham had a pretty slow start offensively. Son had a pretty good chance to score. They didn't convert. Really thought that Gareth Bale and their midfield as a whole really weren't playing that well. And should be said that I think Eric Dyer and Toby Alderweireld were looking pretty solid at the back. Eric Dyer's been looking a lot better this year than he has previously. That's something to take away that's a positive. Thought they performed a lot better in the second half. They were getting forward while making some chances. Nothing really happened, though, until Matt Doherty put in a cross that Harry Kane was able to head in. Great work by Kane to just get in between those two defenders. Really nice cross by Doherty. West Brom, I thought that Callum Robinson was looking pretty good. Gallagher in the midfield and Kravanovic, they were doing all right. They just couldn't find the finish. And that's disappointing for a team that's going to be in a relegation battle. You really need to be able to put the ball in the back of the net. Hopefully for them, Grant is able to really pick up for them in a bit. I think that Johnston was making some good saves for West Brom. He probably would have liked to do better on the goal. And overall it was kind of a game that you'd expect from West Brom. They came out pretty strong. They ended up dying out as the game went on. That's about par for the course for them this year. What's interesting, though, is Tottenham, because, every team has some bad games. It's really publicized how bad their fixture list is, so, energy is going to be a problem for them. But normally with Tottenham, they end up drawing this game 0-0, or they probably lose it. But this year they're able to get that win, and that's something you got to take away. That's a huge positive for Tottenham, because this is the type of game that they normally lose, and this is the type of game that champions win. That's something you got to be happy about if you're a Tottenham fan. So man of the match, it really wasn't that good of a game for anybody on Tottenham. So I'm just going to go with Harry Kane. He put the ball in the back of the net. That's all you can ask a striker to do. So next we have Leicester against Wolves, and it's a pretty good game by Leicester. Not as exciting as they had been previously. 1-0 win for them. Pratt won a penalty off of put a ball into the box. Ended up being a handball on Matt Kilman. A little bit harsh of a penalty, but they got one later on, so it didn't really matter. That was deserved. Vardy was able to convert it. It was lucky, but they did deserve the lead, I think. They were really dominating the game. They were able to win another penalty when Johnny Evans found James Justin, who was also involved in the Pratt penalty win. Vardy had the second one saved by Patricio. I mean, Patricio is a great keeper. I don't think you can really hold that against Vardy. If you give a goalie 2 chances against you, it's going to be tough to convert the second one. Kasper Schmeichel was making some really good saves. Nice game from him. James Justin and Mark Albrighton were doing really well at the fullback position. Luke Thomas is doing fine with given everything, but you just wanted to get the experience on there. James Justin, I thought, had a really good game. Dennis Pratt probably had his best game of the year. I think he's starting for Belgium right now, but great job by him. I think Madison and Barnes probably could have done a little bit better, but overall, it was a great win for this Leicester team. Beating Wolves is tough, and they're top of the league right now. Just amazing job by them. So for Wolves, it was a bit of a disappointing game for them. The main problem was their left side of their defense. Kilman, as I mentioned, gave away a penalty, and Nori also gave away a penalty, and he was really being attacked throughout the game. It's going to be tough for him to keep that spot for Wolves. I believe that Johnny's going to be coming back soon. You had Marcel, who's probably going to start for him. It sucks after he had a really nice performance last week, but this week it wasn't too great by him. The Widemen really weren't getting much going this year. Honestly, they haven't been that good this year in general, especially Traore, even when coming off the bench. Maybe you can't really even put him back at wingback, because Semedo's been doing pretty well for them. So, you really want to see more out of Neto, Podence, and Traore when he comes on. And Jimenez has really not been involved as much this year. Even when he does kind of pop up with goals, it's really just out of nowhere. I don't know, when you look at like how some of the other strikers have been this year, it's definitely a step off for him this year. Pretty disappointing by him. So picking a man of the match for this game, probably going to have to go with the Leicester player. I think James Justin was doing well. He's really shutting down the widemen from Wolves. He's getting forward well. He was involved with both the penalty wins. And yeah, great performance by him. It's going to be tough for Castagna and Pereira to get him out of the team. So next we have Man City against Liverpool. And part of me wanted to say in the prediction, we always get so hyped up for these games, but then they end up being just a boring draw. And I was like, okay, that's a little bit too cynical, but yeah, it ended up happening. So for Liverpool, they got off to a pretty good start. Mane was able to win a penalty that Salah converted, but after that, Man City really took over the possession, but still not too many chances throughout the game. Jesus was able to get a goal. He picked up a De Bruyne pass. He was able to shake Alexander-Arnold, and he got himself a goal. Trent actually got injured himself. Hopefully he's back pretty soon for Liverpool because he's so vital to their attack. I mean, I think we know his defensive deficiencies right now, but he's just so vital to their attack going forward. Really hope he comes back soon. Gomez gave away a penalty off of a De Bruyne shot. It was similar to the Kilman one. I think they referenced that in commentary, but kind of unlucky, but mistakes have been kind of happening a lot for him, so kind of considering that. Overall, not too great of a game for Liverpool, but hey, they got a draw against Man City with all the injuries they're dealing with, so not the end of the world. For Man City, as I mentioned, Liverpool got off to a good start. They're pretty slow. I thought that Ederson was looking kind of weird today. He was coming out of the box a lot, but not really dealing with it very well. He's making some decent saves when he was called upon, but I don't know, it was a little bit weird. Like maybe he had a weird warm up or something. Kyle Walker had a pretty poor game. He gave away the penalty. He just overall wasn't looking too good going forward. That's a little bit concerning because he had really just hit his form again, but pretty poor game today. But then again, you're dealing with Mane, Jota, Firmino, Salah, so bad game against the Liverpool attack's a bit of an asterisk. De Bruyne was looking really creative today. He had a lot of good balls forward. He found Jesus for the equalizer. Jesus was, I'm not going to say he had a great game, but really nice goal. And Man City have definitely missed that striker up front. De Bruyne was looking really good today, but he did miss a penalty. That's really disappointing for him. And yeah, once the second half started, the game really just, both teams were content with a draw, and that's really weird out of two title contenders. And especially when I feel like there's a rivalry between those two, and they're just all right with just taking the draw. Really disappointed to see that. Picking man of the match, it's really tough. There wasn't anybody who really stood out. I'd probably go with Alisson. He was making some decent saves. Overall, it's really tough to say. Last game, and probably the most exciting game of the day, we had Aston Villa beat Arsenal 3-0, and jeez, this is a result I did not expect from Arsenal. I thought they were really going to start doing a lot better now that Partey got brought in, and it seems like Arteta was really coming up with a plan for them, but no. Their attack is just really flat right now. Lacazette hasn't been dangerous all year. Aubameyang's been slow ever since he signed that new contract. I hope this international break can do some good for him, because him not being good is really disappointing. It's making the league worse and really making Arsenal worse. The defense was pretty poor. They were losing a lot of runners. Like Aston Villa were able to put through balls in pretty easily against this Arsenal team. Their midfield, it was, once Partey came out, it was really poor. This El Neni game last week, that was really an anomaly, I guess. He wasn't looking too good today. I was really looking for more from Ceballos, but he wasn't providing much. And Partey got injured, and everything went wrong for Arsenal today. And yeah, something needs to change for this team. Just watching one of that Sky Sport retro videos, and they were talking about how the Invincibles weren't able to really carry on their legacy, and the problems are still there. Well, they did finally bring in Party to really just add some physicality to the team, but man, their defense is still kind of poor. You don't have like a Sol Campbell, Colo Torre in there. You really don't even have a Koscielny in there anymore. But yeah, I think maybe going to a 4-3-3. I don't know. That Willian signing is looking worse and worse every day because not only is he not performing that well, I mean he's an inconsistent player, so he'll perform well eventually. But honestly, if they don't make top four, he's just taking playing time away from Nketiah or Saka in a more advanced role, which I think is more natural to him because wingback's not the greatest role for him. I think that Tierney should be left back, put Saka further forward. Tierney and Bellerin, it's like a pretty good combination. You don't really have the center backs there to play like a 4-3-3 though. So yeah, it's a tough situation for Arsenal. They got to figure something out. I think they're going to give Arteta some time though. Let him make some signings, get the team better. Now on to Aston Villa, and jeez, Arsenal was just the medicine they needed, just like when they were in the relegation battle. I mean, he had some great goals by Jack Grealish. Or not by Jack Grealish. He had Jack Grealish, Ross Barkley, and Target combined. Target ended up playing a ball into Trezeguet. I think it went down as an own goal by Saka, but if he didn't get a touch on it, it would have been a goal, so I don't think you can judge him that much for it. Douglas Luiz put a great ball into Barkley, who had a one-touch volley cross into Ollie Watkins for the second. That was an amazing goal. Great move by Barkley right there. John McGinn was having a good game. I should mention that. Jack Grealish was able to find Ollie Watkins for the third. Good game by Watkins after he hadn't been performed for a while. I don't know if it's just inconsistency or maybe just certain setups Villa do better against, but they were so much better this week. The midfield was playing well after I just written off Ross Barkley and John McGinn. They just had a great game against Arsenal. Their defense was playing well. Watkins was clinical. They made most of the chance. They really deserved this win. You have no idea where this came from by Villa, but great job by them. Man of the match for this week, I think I have to go with Ollie Watkins. Great job by him. And yeah, that's about all I've talked about for these Sunday games. I'll look to get into Euro qualifier predictions out hopefully by tomorrow. And yeah, that's about all I got. See you.